Hey everybody, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Hannah.
And welcome to Barefaced. Hey everyone,
Hello.
welcome back. Thank
Welcome.
you for being here.
Yes.
I like our triple thank you and welcomes that we did.
Because we are so thankful. We really are thankful for
Mhm.
everyone who's listening and giving us support and reaching out to us. You know, this was something that Sarah convinced me to do, and I'm so happy she did because it's
A
been
spur of the moment idea that's turned
No,
into.
but honestly, it's been, the highlight of my quarantine.
Really?
Granted, it was the end of my quarantine. Well, not the end, but we've been in quarantine for a while, and I kind of wish we'd done this earlier. But yeah,
Honestly.
it's an exciting side project and hobby, and just kind of gives me focus. And then we get all the nice comments and DMs and emails, and that just makes me so happy. So we really are appreciative.
It's the highlight of my week is getting to catch up with Hannah before we record and then recording things about products we're super passionate about. So that is what we're going to do today, is actually talk about something that I'm pretty passionate about, which is spreading awareness about multi-level marketing. So some people may not know what that means. Multi-level marketing is basically when a company will use 1099, which is like the fancy way of saying freelancer, and they will sell directly to other customers. And you can make money both by selling, but a majority of the time it's from recruiting other people to join your business, to be a small business owner. And I personally am really interested in this subject because I've had a lot of people approach me about product MLMs. And I did do an internship to graduate college, which included selling cable door to door for one of these direct selling companies. And that one was definitely, like, looking back, quite schemy and like slimy. And I wish I had had more information. Basically, I wish I had known what I was getting into.
And we're not calling what the companies that we're gonna talk about schemy or slimy. No. It's just that there are some out there that Sarah has had experience with, and they just seem to prey, is the word that you would say?
Yeah, I definitely would say. And like the structure in general can be, there's very like wide, I'd say, breadth with like certain MLMs. There are like certain MLMs that I think, in my opinion, are like scum of the earth. I don't think any that we're talking about today are in that category by any sense of the word.
Right.
I think in general, the structure can just be really misleading, and it can make people think that it's a get rich quick thing. And that's just not the case. Yeah. Did I stutter over my words?
You said get rich quick. Honestly though, if I could get rich quick and be like Hermione, I would pay.
I would. Exactly. But I think it's just,
that's our next MLM scheme.
Get rich quick. But especially with COVID, I have seen such a huge flare of people joining these companies. I've personally been reached out to a lot more on like professional sites, which we'll share a little bit more in the future. But I do want to dive in pretty quickly to the 4 companies that we've researched. 2, I'd say, are pretty classic. Like, I don't even want to necessarily consider them like they are multi-level marketing, but they've been around for ages. Like, they've been around forever. And they're kind of like that pillar of MLMs. So let's jump right in. We're going to talk about 4 different beauty MLMs today. The first one is going to be Mary Kay. Everyone knows Mary Kay. We have some personal stories we'll talk about after each one we're talking about as well. But for those who do not know, Mary Kay was founded in 1963 by Mary Kay Ash. They have 37 markets worldwide, which is actually pretty phenomenally massive.
Is really impressive, actually. Yeah.
It's a lot. They have, so I had conflicting numbers when I was researching for this. I had anywhere from 350 consultants to 500,000 consultants, which when you think of it is like a super saturated market. But they average about $1 billion in sales a year, which is a lot of freaking money. Like that's a lot.
That is a lot.
There were some like accolades of Mary Kay. So Mary Kay is very into like empowering women, and we want to make women feel good. And back in the 60s, like think about it, there weren't that many opportunities for women to work.
Right.
So I think at the beginning,
especially
it really
catered to women. That
exactly
very, very rare. Was very, very rare. Yeah.
And she actually was working selling, I think it was like books door to door, like in that Friends episode where he's like, I can get a thesaurus. What letter do you want?
The encyclopedia, yes.
The encyclopedia
he just gets
like
the V's. Yes.
Vietnam.
Yes.
Vasectomies. Anyways, but she felt really mistreated in the workplace. Like she felt like it was a very male dominating field, which back
Shocker.
then weird. And she decided to start her own MLM.
Nice.
So there have been a couple awards that Mary Kay has received. They've been 100 best company to work for and a 10 best for women. However, it is good to know that these best place to work surveys per my current job are based on employee questionnaires. They're not based on any like statistics. It's based on like, do you feel like you're valued? Do you think that you have a good work-life balance? Like the Forbes 100 list is basically picked by that from the research I've done. So like,
so you mean the sponsoring publication or whatever that puts it out uses their data compiled by companies that use
they send out like
surveys.
Questionnaires, like Forbes
of how
will
happy
send your
you
company.
Are.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
well, I mean,
I do
though. Well, okay. You mean instead of like having like an independent team go in and assess?
Correct.
That would be very expensive and time consuming. So I can see why they don't do that. Yeah.
But they don't take any like data into like at least the ones that Mary Kay has won. They haven't taken any like hard data, so like turnover rates, actual
because
salaries
sometimes
and
now they do that. They'll say they'll compare like benefits and I don't know, a bunch of other factors, but that's good. Pay rate, that's good to know. Is that the ones that we're talking about in regards to Mary Kay use internal?
They use just like I think it's quantitative research compared to qualitative research. If my degree is coming back to me correctly, it's been a hot minute. And Mary Kay is exclusively for makeup. They're a lot more into like, they were the people that kind of started that house party trend. So like Tupperware, Tempered Chef, and like Longer Burger. I know Pure Romance parties were a huge thing for us in college.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my, they're like, I don't know how to phrase this in like an advertiser friendly way, but like self-care, but in a sexual way.
So like sex toys?
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
sex toys, body care.
I was thinking you said Pure Romance, and I thought like Victoria's Secret, like body splash or something.
So they do sell like bath and body care products, but they also sell like vibrators and dildos and like sex swings and like lingerie. And they were really fun parties in college. Like
I can imagine. Yeah.
My sorority threw a different party every month. Like, and it was a good old time. Like we'd have wine and cheese and like hang out with each other and pass the dildo around. Like it was stupid and it was fun. But Mary Kay is kind of one of the first, like oldest MLMs that really took that house party and created like this experience around a house party. Whereas like previously Avon was the only other like MLM that was for makeup, and they were doing most like door-to-door sales, which we'll definitely get into later.
Yeah.
So Mary Kay, I don't want to like basically with any MLM, you have to purchase a starter kit. It can range from anywhere between like 20 to I think Rose used to be like $500.
That's what I was thinking about. Rose. Oh my gosh. If you guys, short tangent, but I just want to say Google Rose. I think it's Lula Rose, Rose. There is a very interesting documentary or something that Jay and I watch, and that's what I was thinking about, and I could not remember. So that's just a very interesting.
They are the group that I definitely put into like a more slimy, schemy MLM.
Yes, that's what I was thinking about when you said that, but I couldn't think of the name. I could imagine the printed leggings, but I couldn't remember.
The ugly leggings. Yes. Yeah. Anyways, we're not here to talk about LuLaRoe. But Mary Kay was known to have like a really phenomenal bonus structure and incentives. So they have like that classic pink car. They have these like diamond bee pins for like your little collar, which are super cute. And they were really this like champion for women. When you look into their income disclosure statements, I can speak English today. It kind of tells a little bit of a different story. So
shocker. Again,
shocker.
I'm so shocked.
I pulled this directly from the Mary Kay website. This was not a third party. This was not Wikipedia.
Yes, they will publish it. For the two that I researched, they publish it directly on their site as well.
That's good. And I appreciate that for all the companies
I
we're
don't know
talking
if
about.
it's legally required or not. Maybe someone can
It
let us
is.
know. It is legally required. Okay.
It is legally required, which is why when we get into like one of the other companies that I couldn't find that statement for, I think is a little interesting.
Yes.
So Mary Kay, this is they only had Canadian disclosures on their website, no American disclosures, and it's from 2019 was the earliest I could find.
What do you mean though by so
these are Canadian sales.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
So I couldn't find an American income disclosure. So this says, while personal earnings may vary, independent beauty consultants who are eligible for commissions or bonuses earn between $0 to $559 annually.
With an average of $569 annually.
What did I say?
I think you forgot the 5,000 part.
I'm so sorry.
During editing, I will figure out if I just corrected you on something that didn't need to be corrected. So I apologize.
I'd rather get it out there if I did say it wrong. So I mean, $5,000 annually, $5,500 annually, with an average of making $206 a year. Which,
hang on. So of all the Canadian consultants,
yeah.
On
average, the range was between $0 to $5,500.
Okay, so you have all the consultants, then a certain percent, small or big, whatever it is, make a commission or bonus, and that range was between 0 and $5,569 with a total average of $206 a year.
Correct.
So the most
money most are making are $5,000 a year in bonus
and commissions. Yeah,
and commissions.
Wow. Do we know what percent of total consultants made money in general?
So I did have like their different tiers.
Mm-hmm.
So they only have 4 tiers, which is actually really small. When you think of like a company like Beachbody, I think they have like 15 tiers or something like that, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They have 4. So independent beauty consultant, commission eligible independent beauty consultant. So they're able to make a commission, an independent sales director, and a national sales director. So 83% of all of their consultants are that cannot make a bonus independent beauty consultants.
Whoa.
So like 83% of people selling Mary Kay are not making bonuses. Now that could be because they want to get like discounts on products. It could be just because they like the products and want to get them and like share them with their friends.
Right.
I wasn't able to dig into like, there are certain MLMs where like you have to sell a certain amount of things every month to be active so you can get bonus.
Right.
So, and in general with MLMs, it is shown that about 99% of people will never make their original investment back.
Oh, whoa. Heavy fact.
I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
So about 1% of people will make a profit with an MLM.
Okay.
And you can kind of tell from most of those numbers. So like their 2 highest ranks make up about their highest rank is 0.05% of their entire company.
Right.
But they're making $124,000 a year.
True.
But 0.05%.
Right.
So not even 0.5%, a half of 0.5%.
Do we know how, and they didn't say how many members they had, so we can't say.
It was a range. So like 350,000 to 500,000 worldwide. Now that's worldwide. So like this is just Canada, right? So
right. So the answer is we don't know. Okay.
We don't know.
We don't know if this is 25 people or 100 people. We just know that whatever it is, 0.05% make average or make total, like the highest made.
It says percentage of independent sales force. This
average,
also just like
average annual commissions.
Thank you. Sorry, it didn't copy correctly. That's my bad.
124,000 for average. Yeah, okay, but honestly, that's a really good average, but the percentage is incredibly, incredibly low.
Correct. Yeah, it's just really hard to like make it in these companies if you're, especially if they've been around forever, because you're joining at the bottom of the downline, right? So like the people that have been in it for, it says here, like on average 15 years. They've recruited so many people underneath them. They're making money from all of their recruit sales as well, which is
where so interesting that they say the average of years in.
I've never seen that before with an MLM. I think it's interesting the way MLMs put out their data because it is really hard to actually tell like what's happening. And that's coming from like me who took many a data class at college and like feels like I understand how to read that.
They have complete control over how they manipulate their data to tell the best 100%. Possible photo. So the fact that this is what we're seeing, I mean, here's the thing. You said it was legally required. Now that's legally in the US, right? These are Canadian numbers. So what is legally required in Canada? And so what are, again, there's a minimum threshold of what they have to include, right?
Yeah. So, and to be fair, I find it really difficult to find information on MLMs that isn't like Wikipedia or like people that already have sources. So I got a lot of my information from a YouTube channel called Illuminati.
Oh my God.
I've heard she's great. I freaking love her. She has like whole series and like a bunch of different stuff. Not just like MLMs, but like cults and like just like weird topics that are happening. Like I think she has one on QAnon right now too.
God.
Anyways, I digress. So something I thought was really interesting is that their products are like crazy expensive, which makes sense because they do provide a 50% commission for every product sold to their consultants. So they have to be
high.
So like if you want to make $100,000 in a year, you have to sell $50,000 worth of product. It's really good percentage.
What did you just say?
I'm so sorry. If you want to make $100,000 a year, you have to sell $200,000. My math was backwards.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, I was so confused by that first thing. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So for every purchase, you make 50% commission.
Correct. Which is pretty good.
That's a very high
percentage.
Well, I'm not gonna say very high, but compared to the ones that I researched, that is very
compared
high.
to most, I feel like that's really good.
Yeah.
The interesting part was there was no ingredient list anywhere on Mary Kay's website.
Shocker.
And I feel like that might be like something that should be legally required, and maybe it is on their packaging, and like that's all you need to like disclose.
Legally required, it has to be on the secondary packaging. If you don't have secondary packaging, then it'll be on your primary packaging. But I don't think there is a legal requirement to put it on your website, and this is something that companies will, in my experience, if they have crap ingredients, they won't list them. Maybe they'll just put like, infused with jojoba oil.
That's like exactly what happens on Mary Kay's website. They're just like, it's full of soybeans. Was it soybean?
Vitamin E.
Vitamin E. They talked a lot about how it was enriched with like a couple different, like not even like shea butter. And I'm like, shea butter is not like a good ingredient. That's like, no, it's not, it is a good ingredient.
I mean, it is, but like, it's honestly, it's probably like so low on the ingredient list that there's probably a bunch of other stuff in it. But yeah, I mean, if they don't want to put it, then I don't think they have to. But yeah, if you really are curious, you can buy the whole packaging and read it for yourself.
Which personally, I will say I have some very weird experiences with Mary Kay. Like it's been in my life a lot more than I remember it being, because I had like friends' moms that were like selling Mary Kay, and I remember being like, why can't your mom just give us free product? Like it's her product. Like, can't she? And I remember like realizing now the single eyeshadow that I had was probably like a $20 single eyeshadow. Like it was expensive.
So their product, so that's how expensive it is. For they're like pricey. $20.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't look at exact, like I kind of got a range, but they were definitely what I consider like luxury pricing. Like they was like $40 or $50 for a foundation.
Whoa.
Which is like,
okay.
I spent $65 on my, Pat McGrath, and that's like the highest I think I'll ever spend, and I don't even know if it was like worth it.
Right. So they're like the higher end Sephora.
Definitely higher end. Yeah.
Okay. Like in terms of price range. Okay.
For sure. And then I do remember her mom, this girl's mom, she was a really lovely lady. But I remember her trying to be like, you should wear that to school and like tell your friends what it is and have their moms buy it for them.
Yeah.
And we did, because we were like 12. And I was like, you're letting me wear green eyeshadow to school. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting. I don't think their products are crap. From what I've seen, they're not bad. It's just like, I don't know if I could support a business that like structures itself the way that Mary Kay does.
Yeah. I'll tell you my experience with Mary Kay. So I honestly did not really know what Mary Kay was. So when I was a freshman in college, I went to this like presentation with my friend at her sorority. And
it always was the damn sorority houses.
It was advertised to me as like how to brand yourself for interviews. And I was like, oh, great. Let's go.
I need that.
So we went. And I remember this blonde woman was standing at the front of this huge room, and she kept saying something about Vicky's. And I was like, I don't understand who you are. I don't know what you're talking about. It turns out she was talking about Victoria's Secret. And I was like, I've never heard someone say the word Vicky's for Victoria's Secret. But that was basically the only thing I remember from that presentation. And then at the end, she passed around stuff and it was like, oh, I'm coming back next week and we're going to do facials. And me being a skincare person, I was like, oh my God, facials. I'm in, thinking that, you know, obviously it's not going to be an esthetician, you know, room with facials, but I thought maybe like a chair facial and just a way to.
It could be a fun time with your girlfriends. Like you and I like to mask together when we were like in New York.
I thought someone was going to do it for me. I didn't realize it was going to be a self thing. Like, this is how far removed I was from Mary Kay and what it was. I did not realize what it was. Then I get there the next week and it's at the dining table, right? And then we're putting stuff on our face there and she's trying to sell me something and I like didn't understand. I was like, I'm a college student. Do you think I have money right now? I'm so confused. So I ended up putting stuff on like this debit card that I'd had for probably 2 months, right? And I bought like, I think it was a cleanser and a moisturizer, and I got all these like rashes all over my face, and I got all these little bumps. And now thinking back, I think probably I think the moisturizer had mica in it
because it was like illuminating.
Probably because now if I'm thinking
what year was it, like 2010?
It was 2011. Yeah. And I was just like, whatever. And then sophomore year, same thing happened to my roommate. And so they're like, write down like 5 numbers of your friends. So she wrote me down, and I had this Mary Kay consultant send me text messages and I never responded. She sent me like 2 or 3 text messages saying, hey, let me know when you want to book your free consultation or whatever. And I didn't. Here's the thing. Again, I wouldn't mind supporting one of my friends who's trying to grow her business if I like the product and can benefit, because anytime that I can purchase, and today, if I know one of my friends who's working for commission at a retail store, I will
go specifically.
Yes. Absolutely. And I will be able to support my friend. I'll be able to see my friend, have a conversation. And I know that it's like when you really like someone who's working, let's say at Nordstrom, obviously they live off commission. You go out of your way to make sure that person is working and to give them credit because they work so hard, and it's the least you can do just to support them. If I had liked the Mary Kay, I would have gone to that person and continuously purchased, right? I just happened to have a very bad reaction to the products, so I did not repurchase.
Yeah, you're a lot more open-minded than I am, which I think I need to take a page out of your book. I think I've also just like, I think I've done enough research to like know that it might not just be for me, but like I've also purchased like so I hosted a Pure Romance party where like a woman came in for Pure Romance. Whoa. Not beauty related, I get it. Yeah. But like I said, we were all, I think 21, 22 was all like our 5th year of college because we all did a victory lap.
Nice. That's what you call it?
Oh yeah, I partied. I don't know if this is like we want to get into it. I've never
heard of someone calling it a victory
hard.
Lap.
Dude, I was at the bar 5 nights a week. It was great. I enjoyed my time so much my last year.
Oh my gosh.
But I like bought like I think 5 or 6 bottles of wine. I like cooked, like I baked a brie. Like that's how you know I was like legit. I was like, I baked brie. I like did like this whole platter. Like I did grapes and wine. And I think I did a charcuterie board before they were like big. It's like 2016. And like
before they were big. I'm just laughing because it's like one of the oldest things.
It is, France. But like they were so unpopular in the United States. Like I remember doing that. And people were like, what is that? And I was
were
like,
people afraid of soft cheeses? I'm confused.
I don't know. They all ate it. It was all gone.
Maybe it was big for our age group at the time.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this woman, all my friends bought so much crap that I got like $100 worth of free stuff. Like I could order whatever I wanted.
Interesting.
Because I was the host. And then I ended up, I think I spent like another 50 or 60 bucks because it was a sorority sister of mine.
Right.
That was hosting. She was like the consultant.
Got it.
And it was like how she was paying her rent. And like,
yeah,
I got some body care and like they have some nice shave gel. And I got like a lot of really cool products that I was like, these are really nice. Like they have a self tanner I love.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. The other thing, I don't know if you have any lawsuits that you found for your 2 companies you looked up, but both mine had lawsuits.
I didn't look into that.
So I think I just want to touch on them briefly because I think it is something to bring up. These businesses that champion women, right? They're here for women.
Yeah.
The lawsuit that I found for Mary Kay was from 2005, so it is a little bit older. This woman named Claudine Wolfe was diagnosed with breast cancer while she was pregnant in 1997. She was a full-time Mary Kay consultant. And while she was getting cancer treatment, she obviously wasn't working, so she didn't sell any product. She didn't make enough of her quotas to get her bonus or her car. She had a pink Cadillac. And those got taken away from her and she was fired. Basically, she was like let go from the company because she wasn't meeting her quotas. And when she asked for an exception, she was like, dude, I have breast cancer and I am pregnant. They were like, no, sorry. You're like a 1099 employee. We don't owe you a fucking thing. Like you're done. Wow. And Claudine ended up winning this lawsuit. They paid her $11.2 million in damages. And the kicker is Mary Kay Has Charities, right? Do you know what one of the charities is that Mary Kay sponsors?
Cancer for
the
research.
Breast cancer. So they sponsor breast cancer research.
I know, because when I was in Denver, I worked for a clean beauty retailer and a lot of our customers were cancer survivors. And it was very important to our founder that we participate in, obviously, in raising money and supporting.
Yeah, like Relay for Life.
There was, yes. And then there was a march in October that we did every year. And the Mary Kay was always one of their big sponsors, which is not problematic, but I don't really want to get into ingredient safety, but if you go into that world, you will see that there are a lot of ingredients that have been linked to breast cancer. And so this lawsuit that I just learned about kind of is like the cherry on top of that cake.
Yeah. It's just like you say, you're championing.
You're
a champion. Yeah. You're a champion for women. You see how I just changed that sentence completely?
I did.
But one of your top consultants, like who's going through probably the hardest thing she's ever gone through, you're not cutting her
I can't
slack.
believe they took away her car. I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, that's a real big thing. They take away cars if you like can't meet your bonuses every month.
Oh, what? So they like pay them the lease or whatever, and then as soon as you don't make it, they take it away and stop paying for it? Or else I guess pay for it for someone else. Okay.
Correct.
So it's never. So the car is never in your name.
It's never yours.
It's never. Oh my.
At least from my research, I don't want to like definitively be like, yes, this is fact.
So
because I have also heard women say that like when they lose their bonus, they're responsible for the lease payment. Like if you lose your bonus, you become responsible for that car's payment.
Yeah, because if the car is in your name, right? If the title is yours, then how can someone else take it from you?
I don't know. And maybe it's because she was fired. They were like, oh, like we're taking our property.
But if she's
back.
a 1099, how can she be fired? Is that a stupid thing to say?
No.
Because if you're an independent wait, hold on. If you're an independent contractor, then they just like wouldn't renew your contract. Right. Okay. That was a stupid thing for me to say.
No, I think here's the thing. I didn't know about 1099 until I was hiring 1099s.
Right.
And like it was a brand new world for me. So like there definitely are things that are like important to know. And like, yes, you can be let go as a 1099. Like everyone's still an at-will employee. Mm-hmm. But as you see is like the other brand that I'm going to get into, like that also comes back into play as like part of the business. So,
right.
It's just interesting.
Yeah. I mean, just for like one more thing before we move on. Speaking of the Mary Kay cars, a woman that Jay knows from his hometown has just received her third Mary Kay car. And I always was under the impression that it was, I think she still has all three, or maybe she's gotten upgraded or something, but maybe
she's paid them off.
Maybe, I don't know. But until you said that they could get taken away, I was just in awe that she not only managed to get one, but three. That's crazy.
She has to have a huge downline. She had to be in that business for like, since probably the 80s or something. Like, is she older or is she like our age?
No, she's our age. Yeah, so she's been in.
Girls working hard.
Yeah, she is. I mean, there is no doubt about that she's working hard. Yeah, absolutely. I was
Good
just
for
like,
her.
she just got her third car. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So let's jump into Hannah's business, which I don't know anything about. So I'm really excited to I didn't even look at the research. We have like one giant Google Doc with all of our research.
Yes.
And I didn't even sneak a peek. So.
Yes. So mine that I'm going to talk about is Beautycounter. So Beautycounter was founded in 2011, but they launched in 2013 by a woman named Greg Renfrew. And so this is what's interesting about Beautycounter, and kind of what sets it apart, I think, from Mary Kay and from some of the other skincare MLMs, is that she basically wanted to bring cleaner beauty products to people. So again, think about this was 2013.
10 years ago.
8
years ago.
Yeah, 8 years ago. So
the world was a completely different place.
You didn't really have cleaner products like you have now. You didn't have the cleanest Sephora. The retailer that I worked for didn't exist. A lot of the brands that we sold either were just starting or didn't exist or whatever. It was just,
and or they were so small and no one knew about them.
Exactly. So she wanted to bring a cleaner products, and I commend her for that. Like they say they have an 1,800 ingredients on their what they call their never list. They are a B corporation, which means that they are like the highest certified in terms of environmental responsibility. Like Patagonia is a B Corp.
Cool.
And they do a lot of, again, this is off their website. They do a lot of work, not only like with nonprofit organizations, but they, have gone to Capitol Hill to try and petition the United States to change the rules or change the laws regulating what goes in your cosmetics, because the last time the law was passed was in 1938. And if I remember,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, did you not know that? Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, the last time a law was passed was 1938, and I believe it had something to do with rat poison being found.
Weren't they still putting mercury in products at that point?
Probably, yeah. So and they banned. Oh my god! And they banned, I think, either 11 or 13 ingredients or something. Yeah. So anyway, so she found out about all this, and she said, "WTF?" So she launched her company, which is a direct to consumer, but it's also an MLM, and their MLMs at the base level are called consultants. So they have skincare, makeup, bath and body, and they also have a men's line. In terms of a price range, I just went and looked quickly at their best sellers. Their vitamin C serum was $79. Their moisturizer is $49. Their cleanser was $26 for one of them, which is on the lower side of Sephora.
High end. Yeah.
$63 for an overnight peel, $29 for a lip gloss, $42 for a foundation. Excuse me.
I mean, that's right on par with things like Estee Lauder.
It's definitely skincare. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit higher price, but honestly, if we're doing Mary Kay to Beautycounter, Mary Kay doesn't even put their ingredients on the website. I would be more inclined to purchase
something from
Beautycounter, especially when they have all of this environmental and social responsibility, and they champion that. Like, again, as a consumer, I'm more likely to put my money in a company that I agree with their values and ethos and stuff. So to join, you have to purchase one of their kits. So the minimum is called the digital kit, and that's $50. Or you can purchase an enrollment kit, which is $98. Now the difference is the digital kit is basically like all the training, the education, and what they call business analysis and tracking. And then the enrollment kit has all of that plus 2 products and printed marketing materials. So
realistically, you're going to have to buy both if you want to try anything, right? Product wise.
Well, that's the thing, right? So if, me, let's say I want to purchase this $79 vitamin C serum plus a $49 moisturizer, I can get both of them for $98. So I think that's kind of like,
a recruitment
tool, right?
100%.
Then also you can purchase what's called these extra collections or whatever. And there are these discounted collections that range from 10% to 44% off, which is a huge range. And they say you can use these as testers if you want to hold parties or whatever they call their parties, right?
I'm sorry. I'm sitting here with a very skeptical look on my face. And I think Hannah can see that I'm like sitting here being like, that's interesting.
My notes for this are kind of all over the place. So I just have to remember my research
where we are.
Yes. Okay. So again, like Sarah said, they're independent contractors, and they specifically say you are responsible for producing your own evidence of income history, which is something that's incredibly important if you are an independent contractor. So the minimum payout threshold is $25 a month. For reference, AdSense, at least for me on YouTube, is $100 a month. So
you're making $100 a month still on AdSense from YouTube?
No, I get a payment about every 9 to 10 months.
Okay.
but you have to hit $100. So I get a payment that's at least $100 every like 8 months or so from AdSense.
But you haven't been active on there, so that makes sense.
Yes, but that like has literally never changed. That's always been the case, you know?
Yeah.
But I just mean in terms
Anyways.
of getting a like how often you can get a payment is once a month, and you have to hit at least $25 minimum in order to get a payment. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, the first level is they only have USA and Canadian consultants.
Okay.
That's so in comparison to Mary Kay, it's a smaller pool. I also was looking, I don't know, I'm assuming that they ship overseas. For example, if you're in the UK and you want to buy from their website, I just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first level is the consultant, and you earn minimum 25% on your monthly sales, which can increase to 35%. Obviously, the more you climb and the more you earn. So this is where it gets confusing. So there is no minimum needed. That's what they say. But at the same time, in order to stay active, you have to sell $1,200 in a 6 months period. And if you can't do this, then you get bumped down to what's called a preferred member. And there's a yearly renewal fee of $50 of that.
Okay.
Or a $50, which is the preferred member or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you start off as a consultant, whatever, you get 25% of your monthly sale. They say 25 to 35%, but I believe it's 25%. And then once you hit what they call $300 of sales in business volume, you earn 5% of that sales. Business volume is the orders from your clients, which is what they call their customers, the members, and the new consultant starter sets, right? Which is the marketing materials and all that stuff.
Okay.
Plus the volume generated by people in your downline. So that's where it starts getting where you have to get more people. This is another thing. What I saw on one of these like analysis sites, the commissionable value is 75% of that. So they keep saying 5%, but it's actually like, I don't think it's 5% of 300. I think it's 5% of 75% of 300.
Okay.
Because some things are not applicable or something.
Yeah. There's always like little gimmicks, right? Like there's always like this fine print, especially when it comes to MLMs.
And let me tell you, I read the entire disclosure. Like I literally went through the steps of signing up because there was all these hidden things. Like you can't sell to people in your household, but they made a slight change due to coronavirus. But for example, if my sister wanted to buy something, or I think maybe it was like household under 25. It's so confusing. Again, this is why it's this is why I kind of, both Sarah and I have our antennas about MLMs, because it is confusing.
Which is interesting that you say they can't sell to a household. That makes me think that Beautycounter, in my opinion, raises up in like how good of an MLM it is, because like there are things like Beachbody where they're like, sign up your husband, sign up your mom, like there's a lot of MLMs that will do this thing where it's like to hit rank or to like move up, you have to create your downline.
Right. Yeah. So I saw one thing, it was under 25, and I know they've changed it due to coronavirus. So, but I think, for example, if you're buying, I don't know, because also like the products that you buy for yourself, they help you reach that minimum limit that you need to hit. But basically the minimum you have to have in, like business volume and sales is 300 to be that active consultant or whatever. And then you just keep going up. You got senior consultant, manager, senior manager, director, senior director, executive director, managing director. There are a lot of levels.
8. That's not tragic.
Well, I mean, it's more than Mary Kay, which is 4.
It's not hard to do.
But basically, as you continue, there are more minimums you have to hit, but at the same time, your possible commission can go up. So for example, the third tier is manager. So you have to have a minimum business of $2,500 dollars a month or whatever. On the people immediately below you, you get 9% of their sales. The people below them, you get 7%, and the people below them, you get 5%. But
out of curiosity, do you know if there's like a limit to where they will cap off how many people in your downline you're getting money from?
I don't know.
Okay, because there are some,
like where it's like you can have max of 5 and that's it.
Yeah, you can only go down 5 levels before, and that's why like you need your downline to still like recruit people into their downline, so like the money that they're making counts towards yours. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, I mean, so here for manager, it's you have 3. So you have then you have a level 1, level 2, and level 3. So I assume that level 3 is, technically like 4 levels removed from yourself, or 3 levels removed from you, but I don't know if there's like a certain amount of people,
like a cap.
So they released their 2019 income disclosure, and I also found a report of their 2017, which I think is interesting also. So basically in 2019 they had over 44,000 consultants.
That's not that many in terms of like other MLMs I've seen either. Yes. Like it is not I don't think it's saturated. Like if this is an MLM you want to join, now might be the time, because you might actually get to like the tippy top of the pyramid.
Right. Like there are not that many. Granted, it's also only USA and Canada, so there's less of a spread. True. But yes, so the way that they say is over 44,000 consultants. So 82.2% of those 44,000 consultants earned an average of $552 per year, with the top 25% of that group averaging $1,600 a year.
Okay.
Already, that's more than Mary Kay.
It is. I mean, that's still a very, very, very small amount of additional income.
It is. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And now here's the thing, right? If you're a person that's like becoming a consultant just to get product discounts, if this is like, these are your personal things that you're purchasing every year, like I definitely, spend at least that much a year on beauty products, which is disgusting. So if you're making this money as like your personal purchases.
Right. And then you're getting that discount. Because you get the 25% discount, right? So, I mean, if you're a fan of the products, then it makes sense. So here's something for 2017 that I wanted to mention before I'll get back to the 2019 numbers. It said in 2017, they had over 33,000 consultants. So they got 10,000 in 2 years. That's
yeah. Sorry, I'm reading now. Yeah.
So in 2017, right, they had 33,000 consultants. Of those, 87% received at least one commission per year. Which apparently, this was on a blog site, like a MLM analysis site. They said that's actually very good for an MLM, because they said Avon says only 12% of their consultants received a commission based on a 2018 income statement. So 12 versus 87. Yeah.
A part of me wonders if that's because of how saturated the Avon market is. Like this is probably a really good opportunity because there's not that many consultants selling it. Yeah. So if like I had someone be like, hey, have you heard of Beautycounter?
Right.
No, not until today. Right. So you definitely could have.
Well, and especially because they were at the beginning, and they still are, it still is the new beginning for clean beauty and accessibility. So, there definitely is that different thing. Yeah. So just to kind of wrap up the 2019. So we had the 82.2% average $552 per year, with the top being $1,600. 10.2 earned an average of $4,000 per year, with the top being $7,000 a year. 2.8 earned an average of $8,000 a year, with the top 25% averaging 12.7. So this amounts to 95.2% of all their consultants earned, like the top 25% of them max, their average was 12.7K, give or take slightly more because it's an average, right? So you could have some people earning like max like 15,000 and some earning 10,000. The top managing director, this is 0.2% of the consultants. And I'm going to do some quick math here. They earned their average yearly was $292,000 a year. So $292,000 a year, just remember that. Again, my next one, that'll be not even as close to what their top level makes.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I think people want to join MLMs, right? Because like you see, oh, you're making, $100,000 a year just working from your phone or your computer. Like, I want that life. And they sell this like lifestyle to you. They're going on brand trips. They're doing all these cool
that's
things.
The other thing too that I didn't.
You're selling, like you're selling the lifestyle.
Yes.
But when you look at it, what 96% of people are making less than a minimum wage when you break down $12,000 a year.
Right.
Like $12,000 a year is $6 an hour. I just did the math real quick. But like when you think about that like
it's a little bit of extra income, but it's not extra. Oh, here's something else I was gonna say. So I'm a Rover dog sitter, right? Now I've had a good availability, but it's been coronavirus. So everyone is holding on to their pets because no one's going to work. No one's going on vacations. I have made after fees over $1,300 in 6 months.
That's not bad.
If you need extra money, maybe look at dog sitting versus selling.
Or like, I know like my brother, he, before he proposed to his now fiance, he did DoorDash and Grubhub. He would go 3 days off that he had a week. He was making, I think he said like $4,000 or $5,000 in like 3 months.
But here's the thing though, you have to put in the extra hours. Like for dog sitting, like the MLM thing, people kind of say it as like a side gig. No, if you want a side gig, sign up to be a dog sitter. And then while you're at home, you just care for a dog. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I understand getting a second job working at X, Y, or Z, but the reason that I think some of these companies appeal to people is that you can work from your house and it's like, you know, just put in the hours that you want or whatever. And I mean, that is the same with DoorDash. I get that because you put the hours in that you want, but
like one of my friends,
I just meant mine
teacher,
was like a little bit more passive, you know?
Oh yeah. Like my friend who's a teacher, like, and even me, I've actually thought about doing DoorDash because like, I just like to go out for drives.
Right.
So like, why would I not also deliver food and get money while I'm going to be doing that anyways? And I can like get out of my house, but like in a COVID safe way. So like my friend has been doing it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You saw a TikTok.
I saw a TikTok where a girl basically signed up to be DoorDash and she goes, they're basically paying me to pick up my meals because I only turn on the driver when I go to pick up my own orders.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
It's like, that is so funny and smart. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's like, even being like, I don't know. There are just like so many different ways you can put yourself out to like do work through Fiverr. Like you can be a 1099 employee in a lot of different ways. Like I even looked at being a freelancer this holiday season in the beauty, like going back into Sephora's as a freelancer. Because you can ask for $25 an hour.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, it's all different. So a couple more things about Beautycounter before we move on. So there is no auto ship of products. And there's no monthly minimum purchases for consultants because some do require that. And if you don't meet that, I think $1,200 in the 6 months, then you drop from consultant to what they call a Band of Beauty membership, which is $29 a year. And I guess you get 1 year free and then you have to pay to renew. And I think that's just like their membership that I think any customer can sign up for. I think that's what it was. Yeah. And then, one more thing. I mean, I tried Beautycounter because in fall of 2016, they released a product line through Target. And me being the beauty person that I am, I was super excited because I could finally buy it in person. I wasn't really down, I didn't really know anyone and I wasn't really down to buy it online. So I was like, I'll go see what they have in Target. And I purchased 3 products. And I actually have a YouTube video about it back when I used to make those.
Check it out, guys. Go check out Hannah's old AF YouTube videos.
Yes. And I wasn't impressed with, I don't honestly remember. I think the moisturizer had coconut oil, so it broke me out. I think I liked the cleansing balm and then the rose mist I purchased. And honestly, a mist is a mist in my opinion. So I think it was like a fun extra. But I do know people that love their products. And I got to say, I was on their site and I was like, wow, some of these look really cool. I wouldn't mind trying these. So,
yeah. I mean, out of all the MLMs I've ever researched, this one seems like it's the most ethical, if that's
I would definitely use that word to describe
like
them.
I think like I don't think MLMs can like inherently be like crazy ethical because I think they do have that potential to prey upon people that don't have that information.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Beautycounter is set up in a way to where like I don't necessarily love that they're doing it, but I can see that they're trying not to be like other MLMs. And I appreciate that.
What's funny though, is that when I think about, when I read, why did you start it? And, Greg says, it's because I want to bring cleaner products to people and make it more accessible. The only logical explanation, well, it makes sense to me as a consumer. I'm like, well, of course you do MLM because how else is some random person in, I don't know, Ohio or something gonna learn about it, especially because they don't have but at the same time, I can see why it would be an MLM because obviously you make money. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to jump into another oldie but a goodie, our queen Avon. Avon's been around for frickin' ever. I did not realize this. Avon was founded in 1885
wow.
by a man named David McConnell. So he moved around a bunch. He ended up settling in New York, and he was going basically door to door. He was going town to town with all these contraptions. He would sell a bunch of different stuff. And he realized through his travels that the fragrance samples, we love a good fragrance sample.
Yes.
He used it as an icebreaker. So a little bit of my MLM experience is like a way that you could literally get into someone's home. The amount of times I like basically invited myself into someone's home is terrifying.
Right.
Or allow them to like want to talk to you is by doing this thing called an icebreaker. So for example, like when I was walking up to someone's house asking about cable, I'd be like, oh my God, like I went to a specific university. Obviously I'd be like, oh my God, I went to that university. Like, here's their mantra. Yeah. I don't want to share like too much personal information. But you're like, oh my God, that's so funny. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
My name is Sarah. I'm here to talk to you about your AT&T bill. And it was like,
well, yeah, you have to find an segue. Yes.
Yeah. And so he really noticed that female customers in particular were more interested in his fragrance samples than like anything he was saying.
Interesting.
And he realized that having a woman approach a woman is a lot more chill, and they would probably be more likely to listen to another woman.
Yeah.
So Avon was like similar to Mary Kay, this super groundbreaking company where before women had the right to vote, they could sell Avon door to door. And it really gave them this opportunity to like create a life for themselves. So like Avon is one of those brands where like looking at it objectively, they have done a lot of charity work. They have given a lot of women a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
So it is something to like think about. They have been on the decline recently. They've pulled out of about 2 or 3 markets, I think. So they're no longer in Australia. I think they pulled out of France and like didn't tell their consultants till they announced it on Facebook. They're like, oh yeah, and we're leaving by. So definitely like not the best business practices.
Yeah.
But Avon is very much that door-to-door sale. Like if you remember like Avon calling, like Edward Scissorhands, like the woman's like, Avon calling.
That's what I was thinking about. Whenever I think of Avon, I think of Edward Scissorhands. Yes.
Oh, 100%. So they were really into like selling door to door and like getting in the door and setting up their little things. Right. They do makeup, skincare. They really want to sell jewelry. Like I don't understand why they think that like they bought Tiffany & Co. for a little bit.
They bought, or you mean they sold Tiffany & Co.?
No, they bought like back in the early 1800s. They bought Tiffany & Co. and like sold it back at like a loss because they couldn't like make it work. And they did it with a different company recently. They sell fragrances and they sell a lot of like weird home goods. So they'll have I have a lot of experience like flipping through an Avon catalog. They were really big in my church groups. And like any garage sale in my city, no matter where I went in my city, there was always an Avon lady being like, take my Avon brochure. Or like she'd have her like old stock like out on her counter, be like, it's all 50% off. Like take what you want.
It's all expired.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, Avon has like really a weird collection. I will say, I remember it was one of those church festivals. There was an Avon booth, which smart on that lady's behalf.
Right.
But it was the first time I bought a pencil sharpener for like my eyeliners. And it was the best damn pencil sharpener I had. And I think I paid like $5 or $6 for it. In hindsight, you can buy the NARS pencil sharpener for also $6.
Right.
And I think it's nicer.
Right.
But I remember that being like, I used to use their makeup removers. My mom still like, she's like, I have to find a new Avon lady. Cause like they're hard to find at this point.
Right.
Cause she has this like makeup removing cream that she likes. It's basically cold cream in a squeezy tube.
Got it. Okay.
It's not, in my opinion, anything special, but
she likes it. So she's got to find,
really loves it.
She's got to find her lady. Yeah.
Yeah. And in my opinion, I use a lot of Avon makeup as well. Like I think one of our dance moms was an Avon girl. Cause like, I remember using a lot of it when I was doing like my dance recitals.
Yeah.
They're okay. I don't think
are they expensive?
No. So they are not crazy expensive. Their commission rate's about 25%. So I think having that lower commission rate, like their lipsticks, I think were like $10 when I was looking.
Oh, okay.
So like I'd say on par with drugstore.
Yeah.
But I think like drugstore quality, if I could get a NYX lipstick, I'd much rather have like a NYX lipstick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that quality, I know it's there.
Got it.
I thought this was super interesting. So I went onto their website to sign up. I was like, let me see the process of signing up.
Yeah.
There was an option to like become an Avon rep, but you could not click on it. Like, it would not let it happen.
Oh.
So like you couldn't sign up from their website. And then I kept trying to Google their income disclosure statements, which by the way, I could not find anywhere. Like the ones I found from like 2008 and 2009 were basically just like Excel spreadsheets that someone had created. So I can't like confirm.
Someone outside the company had created?
I could neither confirm nor deny who had created these statements. So it is quite possible they came from Avon, but they were just like Excel documents.
Oh,
so like weird. I didn't want to like say that it was truth or whatever.
Right. The source was unknown.
The source was unknown. It was from like an MLM website that had a bunch of other income disclosure statements that were like looked legit.
Right.
But okay. I thought what was super interesting was the only way I could sign up for Avon and get to the link to put my information in was through other beauty bloggers, quote unquote beauty bloggers. They were Avon reps that were promoting it through their personal blogs and websites. So we're creating that pyramid, baby.
I was going to say, that's so interesting because honestly, that doesn't necessarily benefit the company, I feel like. Or does it? I don't know, because someone can persuade you. But if you're able to sign on someone, yeah. Huh. Because both the ones that I looked at, you could sign up directly through your...
Same with Mary Kay. Yeah, like you could sign up right there. Okay. But yeah. I did also find out that Avon was purchased by the Natura & Co. group, which owns Natura, Aesop, and The Body Shop, which also is an MLM. Like The Body Shop has The Body Shop, but they also have a Body Shop MLM, right? I learned that this week.
My jaw just dropped. I've never heard of that.
The Illuminati has a great video on it. I didn't really watch the whole thing, so I don't want to also don't want to segue into like The Body Shop, but yeah, they have like Dove Chocolate had an MLM where they were selling chocolate. They closed down due to COVID, which I think is hilarious.
Okay.
But yeah, so they have been purchased. I think it was as of February of this year. So part of me wonders as I like research that, like, are they potentially moving away from an MLM style where like they're not allowing new consultants to just sign up because they want to kind of control what's happening? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're kind of known for their
MLM though, you know, like
they are, or maybe they'll just let it run its course because it is dying very quickly. Like, I think I saw like 15 or 20% gross earnings down per year.
Okay.
Like huge dollar amounts that they're just losing. So there are a couple controversies I just want to get into because I think it's important to shed light on all areas of the business.
Yes.
So since at least 2008, there have been conduct concerns from various employees of Avon. They've been investigated under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act for basically bribing people in China.
What?
Yeah. So
is that where their products are made?
So no. It leads into my other controversy, which is both Mary Kay and Avon had signed pledges back in like the mid-aughts to be cruelty-free with PETA. Now, PETA is also not an organization that I'm like gung-ho about, but like back in the 2005, 2010s, it was a big deal to do that.
Yeah. I think, to go through the process, it's a very crazy and expensive and just like really difficult process. So if you are like PETA certified or Leaping Bunny or whatever, it's, you know, it's incredibly.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah.
And then they both decided that, and they like made this very public announcement, like, hey, we're cruelty free.
Right. I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm to this point in my life where if you're not cruelty free, why? Right. Like I get like,
especially if you're a new brand. Yeah.
Like why? Like there is no reason to not be cruelty free.
Yeah.
And I do kind of draw the line where like, if you're cruelty free, but you sell in China, like.
Okay. But here's the thing. Here's how you get around that is you go through Tmall.
Great. Hana knows the answer. So like brands like NARS, who used to be cruelty free, that are no longer cruelty free because they're selling in China. Like I get that the Chinese market is like a huge way to make money for your business, right? Like,
yeah, but there are ways around it to reach the Chinese market. Now, I'm not an expert on this, but I do know that there
are ways to do it.
Yeah.
So basically what Mary Kay and Avon both did is they started selling in China, never publicly renounced that they weren't cruelty free. So if you didn't know, they started selling in China. and you'd only seen their like, hey, we're cruelty free. If that's something that you personally are really like, you only are buying cruelty free makeup, you won't know.
So let's just clarify for people who are listening who don't know. In order to sell, as of now, in order to sell in China,
correct,
they require animal testing. So this raises issues obviously for companies that extend to the Chinese market. Now, as we said, I believe there is a way around that through a site called Tmall. Don't quote me on that. I'm not the expert on that. But it was always when I was, yeah. And then when I was, not necessarily growing up, but like in high school and college, like that's what I would hear. Oh, they sell in China. Therefore, they, at some point, their products that at least make it to China have to prove
have to be tested on
animals. So yeah.
It's where your ethics stand on it, basically. Because I remember there were many, because NARS went into the Chinese market my first year working at Sephora. And I remember so many people came in and said, like, I have to replace my NARS foundation.
I get that. I mean, honestly, I get that. But I think as time goes on, and if they either change their laws, or if maybe companies are not testing on animal and still managing to sell through China, like I feel like there is an avenue, but maybe they would advertise that more, or maybe through your own research you can find that out. But I do understand I would honestly be the same.
Yeah.
Not necessarily return. I would just be like, I'm not going to repurchase. Yeah.
Exactly. And most of these people were just like, I've run out. I don't want to support this brand anymore.
Yes.
What can I buy instead? But there are also a couple lawsuits. So again, this brand that champions women, that has lots of charities, again, I believe for domestic violence, and I think for cancer research. There was a woman who was pregnant who worked in their corporate office, and she had I think her job required her to be around very like volatile chemicals. Like she must have been in development or something like that.
Right.
And so she asked to be put on remote work because she had to be on bed rest. And she asked to be removed from that department because she couldn't be around those chemicals because she was pregnant. And Amazon, jeez, Freudian slip there. Avon kind of begrudgingly gave it to her, but then for her maternity leave and her subsequent pregnancies, basically made her move to a department she wasn't qualified for, and then used it as an excuse to fire her. Because we're a champion for women and we empower women, except when you're pregnant. But anyways, so she ended up winning her suit initially, and then it was overturned later in court. I couldn't find exactly how much. Right. It's so interesting how big these pockets go. So yeah. And then there was a suit where district managers who should have been at a corporate level were not paid or given benefits as W-2 employees because they were still considered 1099, and Avon refused to grant them W-2 status. W-2 means you have taxes taken out. Sorry.
Right. No, I understand what W-2 means. You said district manager. So at some point in the ladder, you switch from an independent contractor to a W-2 employee?
So your title, once you get up to a certain level, a certain tier. And again, I wasn't able to find any structure information on Avon.
Weird.
So like your title becomes district manager, and the amount of work you're doing is basically a district manager, but you're still an independent contractor because you're still in that MLM structure. You're not part of their corporate
So what was
office.
their lawsuit though? They were trying to sue to get W-2 status and get benefits and stuff. And then
there was a bunch in California.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is the plight of the independent contractor, is that, you don't get benefits, you don't get insurance, and
which is BS.
You're required to save for your taxes and then pay them in April. So yeah. Okay, so our last MLM is Rodin and Fields. So Rodin and Fields was founded in 2000 by two Stanford dermatologists, Dr. Katie Rodin and Dr. Kathy Fields. And these are the two women who also founded Proactive in 1995. So obviously Proactive was huge. They had, I remember Katy Perry.
Still huge.
They still are, yeah, but especially
Hayden Panettiere,
Katy Perry. They had all
Ashley
these
Simpson.
Ads. Yes, they were just huge. So basically Rodin and Fields, they founded it again in 2000. They initially sold their products at department stores. They were acquired in 2003 by Estee Lauder, and then they bought the company back in 2007, pulled the products out of the department stores and launched their MLM model in 2008.
I wonder, like they have to be making so much extra money to be like having that MLM structure. Like, what makes you want to, like, if you've already bought back your company and Proactive has been so successful, what makes you choose this model? Is like, I would really like to ask them, like, why
MLM? Yeah.
Why MLM? Like, if you've already had such a, like, I get it if you like haven't had like a super successful product, but Proactive is one of the most successful, I would say, skincare campaigns other than maybe Clinique that like I can remember. Right. Like, never have I had such a, like, or maybe Curology. Like, the Curology right now is kind of doing that same thing, right? Like,
yes, but they're much newer and not as huge as Proactive. Like, Proactive has vending machines in malls. But I think it's because the one, it's the amount of money you can make, and two, you know, if you're selling through department stores, you're not making it than if you're selling through your direct customer. Or direct to customer, there's just obviously the margins are completely different, and they're a lot more beneficial if you're selling it directly yourself. And then I think the other thing is, you know, they're both dermatologists, they both work with people. And I know this was something that I saw a lot about in Beautycounter. It was all about education. So in theory, if you have an MLM, you could focus on education of the products because you have complete control over, not complete, but you have a lot more control than you would over how someone sells your products and your brand over how a department store employee will sell your products.
Yeah, like brand. you can tell your independent consultants exactly what language you want them to use. You can highlight
also, they're personally motivated to sell your stuff, so they're going to make you more money.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know why, but that line you had said about the vending machine, I watched Princess Diaries this weekend, and there's a line where Lily's like, the way to a girl's heart is not by treating her like a vending machine.
And I forget what was that in reference to?
Because Jeremiah like pulls a coin out of Lily's ear and he's like, Shazam. And she's like, okay. Got very nice, Jeremiah. But the way to a girl's heart is not by treating her like a vending machine.
Ugh, what a great film.
It was seriously
so good. Anyway, so Roden and Fields, I will say they have a very impressive website. They have, you know, they're founded by 2 dermatologists, not, you know, Stanford dermatologists. Right off the bat, that is going to be more convincing. They also have clinical results and very convincing before and afters, right? BNAs. So as a consumer, especially if you're struggling with acne or fine lines or whatever, if you see those results, you're going to be more tempted to spend your money. Their best-selling, I believe their number 1 best-selling product, this is one I saw everywhere, and it's on their bestseller site. It is $155. It is a lash boost serum. It's so expensive, but every single blogger who is saying, you know, why I'm a RNF consultant or whatever, you know, they're saying if you just sell one of these, then you're X amount away to meeting your thing.
Okay, so for context, I tried to sell many a grande lash at Sephora, which is $65. Right. And you know how many I actually sold if I tried to sell 2 a day? Maybe 1 a month, like maybe. And that's for a $65 lash serum.
Right. Now look at the before and after and you can see why people will buy it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying
I'm going to go onto the website while you're talking.
That's such an expensive product. I cannot wrap my head around that. They have a $73 eye cream. This is all on their bestsellers page. Their hydration serum is $112 and their body moisturizer is $66. Now,
I could not, with a good conscience, sell things that are that expensive.
Also, like they're like normal sizes. It's not like it's 1,000 milliliters of body moisturizer and $66 is all you're going to be spending for the year or something. Like they're normal sizes. They did have, they won an Allure. They've won several Allure Beauty Awards or whatever. And in 2020, they have an unblemished clarifying mask for $60 for 50 mils, which has sulfur and tea tree. And I was intrigued by that one because I was like, that is on the higher price, but you know, you have the Allure Beauty thing, whatever. I can see how people would be willing to spend $60. I am more into the $30 range, but again, if it's clinically proven and all this stuff, then okay, whatever.
I do see these before and afters. I looked it up just because in an incognito tab, so I won't get any ads for them.
Nice.
I mean, these results are I would say impressive. I don't think they're any more impressive than the Grande Lash, which is literally 1.5 times less money.
Right. And I mean, here's the thing. They definitely have...
I didn't know how much Rodan and Fields were before this like moment. So I'm kind of like spasming internally from like
$112 for a hydration serum is so expensive.
I spent $10 on my Pacifica one and it works just fine. Thank you.
Right. And I mean, here, even if you do want to say, okay, it's clinical result, it's founded by dermatologists, whatever, that's fine. But it still is really expensive. There's just no other way.
But at that point, you could use like Murad, who is also clinically proven with a dermatology results, and their hydrating serum, I think, is in like a $40, $50, $60 range, which is still expensive.
Right. There you
go.
But
like that's reasonable.
Right. It's half the price of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Dermalogica.
Right. Yeah. There are other options out there as well.
So sorry, I don't mean to like rain on your parade, Hannah.
No. I'm just saying this is incredibly expensive. So it's nice to have stuff that's comparable. So I think that's helpful. So to join, you have to purchase at minimum what they call the business starter pack, which is $45. This is what I can tell, basically an ebook. It basically tells you the company background, their philosophy, and how to start your business.
Well, it's good to know that even that's overpriced.
Yes. So then they have 3 other starter kits that include product, and these range from $395 to $995. These include products, tools, and marketing materials. Oh, they sell like skincare tools and accessories. So they have gauze,
like
they
facial
have
steamers.
Remover, they have a blackhead removal tip. They have brushes. Yeah, they have interesting things. And yeah,
I mean, they're hitting all their bases.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to start out and spend $1,000, then go ahead. But they have...
I'd rather go spend $1,000 at Sephora or Ulta or a derm store.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
My new favorite store.
So basically, the first level is what they call an active consultant. So they get 25% off retail. There's a $25 renewal annual fee, but then there's no minimum like selling or whatever. This is basically like if you want to get product for yourself, you can join, pay the annual fee, and get 25% off. And then there's a flat rate shipping. Not free shipping, just like a flat rate shipping.
Like $6 or whatever.
I think it's $11.95. Yeah. But see, they also have something called preferred customer perk, which is $19.95 one-time fee, auto replan every 60 days, 10% off, free shipping $80 or plus. Otherwise, ground shipping is $11.95. So they have a bunch of different levels, but you'll see that on their site, they say PC price, which is preferred customer, but that's different than consultant, right? So if you want to be a consultant to sell, you earn 10% commission on purchases. You have to hit $100 of sales volume per month. This can come from your profit, right? You make 25%. This is how, again, so confusing. I'm going to contradict myself. It's not going to make sense because it doesn't make sense.
This doesn't make sense.
It's specifically confusing on purpose. It says sales volume can come from a retail profit, which is 25% from personal purchases or customer purchases. So you get, if they buy a $100 moisturizer, $25 goes towards hitting your minimum $100, but you're getting 10%. So you get $10 in your account, but you have to hit $100, which is separate, right? So you basically have to sell 4 $100 moisturizers minimum a month to hit your $100 sales volume, and then you get $40.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You're only earning 10% commission on these $200 products.
Yeah, you earn
for this level.
Yeah, you earn a 10% commission. Yes. And then you get a 10% commission on what they call PSQV, which is preferred customers something volume, and then the consultants under you. So you get 10% right on yours, and then the 10% on the people downline. Under me. Yes, downline.
Okay.
There's a $25 annual fee. Every month that this renews, $20 of that goes towards your $100 monthly minimum. So if mine was January, then I would only have to sell an additional $80 to hit my minimum 100 because my $20 renewable fee, whatever, went into that.
Okay.
Then they just continue going. Then they have executive consultant. And it's, oh my God, I found this Australian video that kind of helped it, but she's from this Australian RNF consultant, and she was kind of clear, but at the same time, it gets confusing. She was talking about all these different buckets.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so they call it like the QV is one bucket, and then you have the PSQV is another bucket. So you have, right, the consultant level that I said where you are selling. Then you have executive consultant. Now this is if you hit your $100 monthly and you also have a minimum $600 PSQV. So that means that everyone below you is together, I guess, making $600.
So either you have 6 people under you, or you have like one or two people
hitting their $100 a month. Yes.
Okay. Or you have like 1 or 2 people under you that are just knocking it out of the park.
That are achieving $200 or $300 to achieve that $600. Yes. So here's the thing also, that you can either sell to, Jane, who is just a normal person, doesn't have any discounts, or you can sell to what they call PCs, preferred customers. Now, again, these are the ones that pay the $20 fee a year, and they get a 10% discount, right? So you're making even a less commission because they are purchasing a $100 moisturizer at a 10% discount, and you're making a commission based off that discounted price.
Yeah, that's not, I'm listening to like you explain this commission plan, and all I'm having is flashbacks of me trying to explain how bonuses at Sephora worked. And like, that was like, if we make our goal, we make money. Like that was it. Right. Like, and there was like certain amount of money, you make a certain percentage, whatever. And like, it was a straightforward plan. Like when we talk about our personal experiences, mine is with a Rodan and Fields consultant.
Right.
I have zero want in my life to ever have to like explain to a group of people that I've recruited into this business how this works.
Right. It is incredibly confusing. And they put it all out there on the site. I found multiple PDFs. It's confusing.
You have to go through it.
Right. So at this point, right, if you're an executive consultant, you are getting your 25% retail profit from your purchases and your direct customers. That's going towards your $100 minimum. Now here, I think they kept saying you can make money from this. And this is what I don't get, is that you have to hit the $100, then where do they pay you out? Like that doesn't make, because they kept saying you make 25% retail profit. And I just don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something. Then you get 10% commission from your consultants. And then you also get 5% from your personal team commission, which are the people under you.
Okay.
See, but now that I'm looking at this over, I don't, because all I see was that you're in 10% commission on sales and then the retail profit. So maybe minimum a month you're getting 110. I don't know. You know what? We don't know. And then they have, right. Then they have level 1 through level 5 executive consultants. And then they have executive group, whatever. Let's go into the earnings reports that I found. So yeah, so here it is, earnings. Basically there's 2 ways to make earnings. One is through profit, right? Which is 25% of the full retail. Like it says retail minus consultant price. Like, again, it's
so when you're a consultant, you get a percentage off.
Right. Well, you can purchase the products for 25% off, but then they say that you also are earning that. But the people aren't buying. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
And then you get your commission, right? Okay, so here is the 2019 income disclosure from Roden and Fields. In 2019, they had over 360,000 consultants. It didn't say if this is just US, if this is worldwide. Because I found the Australian woman on YouTube, I'm assuming this is worldwide. So they had over 360,000. 55% of those 360,000 received a payment and 45% did not.
So 50% of people did not even make money at all.
Didn't make any commission, right? But here's the thing. If we go back to the first tier, if you just want to be an active consultant, right? You pay the $25 annual fee, you get 25% off retail, and you have, there's no minimums and there's no flat rate. So there could be a large percent of people that just love this. And to them, it's worth paying the $25 annual fee because they're getting that 25% off the products that they're going to use. So that is just one thing to keep in mind. They had a little asterisk at the bottom. So I'm going to say this. They have 360,000 consultants, 70 in 2019. earned an average of over $1 million in sales each.
70 out of 360,000.
Yes. And now that I'm looking at this has got to be, it says $1 million in sales, but I think it's $1 million in income.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I don't know why I wrote down in sales, but maybe that is. Oh, now my whole point has been ruined because I might have written something wrong. But anyway, let's continue.
There is, from what I've seen on Rodan and Fields, like on the internet, there is like this $1 million club. It's a thing that like
so that brings me back to the Beautycounter where I said, what were they getting? Like 230 or 260 a year with their top. And then I saw Roden and Fields was, their top was getting $1 million. Obviously that's 260 is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. Like $260,000 a year is a lot of money, but compared to Rodan and Fields, some people are getting $1 million.
So 70 people out of 360 is 0.00019% of their people working their business
are making $1 million. Yeah.
Are making $1 million. It's a nil of a nil of a nil of a nil.
Yeah. So so of the 360,000 people, 67.1% earned less than $1,000 a year. 24.6% earned between $1,000 and $5,000 a year. 5% earned between $5,000 and $10,000 per year. This means that 96.7% of their consultants did not make more than $10,000 a year. And your initial buy-in could be $1,000. Yeah.
And 67, this is where we go back to like most people never make their initial investment back. Whether it's $100,
they have $100 monthly minimum, so they can purchase business supplies or what they call like welcome packages, thank you gifts, or other products, or they're buying products themselves because you have to hit that $100 minimum,
or you're not active.
Oh, and they have something else. So they have, these sites have their own web like personal websites, right? Where I go, if Sarah was a whatever, I would go to Sarah's site and I would purchase through there, and that's how she gets credit and my commission, or her commission off my purchases. They have something called Pulse Pro. There is something called Pulse Basic, but they highly recommend you subscribe to Pulse Pro, which is their personal website and back-end business essentials. It is a 1-month trial, then it is $24.95 plus tax monthly subscription for about $300 a year. Which
you
also
could sign
applies
up on Squarespace for less money.
This also applies towards your $100 monthly like minimum.
So like, why wouldn't you do it at that point? Like if you have to spend $100, like
exactly.
that
So you're paying for this service or whatever, which is like an app or something.
Out of the 4 we've done, this feels the most like questionable.
It's just because you have to. Honestly, it's just because you have to like hit that minimum or whatever. So you're just constantly buying product, or you're just buying something because you have to do that. So
which I will say that is something that's like important to remember, is like there are FTC rules that like require that you are not allowed to like buy stock. Like that's a rule of being like a multi-level marketing company.
You can't buy stock of that own product or of that company.
Like, you can't not stop. Like, I mean, you can't buy inventory. Let me rephrase. So you can't.
It says in inventory. In that legal thing, it says like no hoarding.
No hoarding. But like how many pictures have I seen with like shelfies of just like Rodan and Fields of like, I use this all because I love it so much. I'm like, no, it's probably because you had to make your monthly minimums, but you can't say that you're like needing inventory.
Right. And I mean, they'll say, you will want to purchase products because if you want to give samples, if you want to host, and here's the thing, that is true. If you go to someone's house and you're trying to get them to buy product, again, you're going to have to, if they're going to spend $155 on a lash serum, they might want to see how it works. I wouldn't put it directly on your eye, but maybe just smell it or something. You know what I mean? Like
feel it on the back of your hand.
Right. So you're going to have to purchase that serum at a 25% discount. It's just,
oh my God. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Of all of them, this was the craziest in terms of the out-of-pocket expense and just like the little amount of money.
Return.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. And like, it just hurts me knowing that people will jump into something like this and put like I think what really got my like fire lit is I saw a lot of messages starting right in March when stimulus checks came out, and it was saying use your stimulus check to invest in your business. And I'm like, if 90, how many people?
Start an
76%.
Etsy
Exactly. Or like start an Instagram business. Like Instagram is free to use. You can ship like on your own time. Start a TikTok. Do you know how many people on TikTok that posted their crafts are now making like good money?
Here's the thing. I mean, I get it, because as someone who lost their job and I was looking at extra sources of income, like it's so frustrating when you go on there's these, ways to make money sites and people are like, oh, sell something or whatever. I'm like, okay, I am trying to, but it's not like I have stuff that's so worthy of selling and I can easily sell it. And then they say, turn your hobby into a business. And I said, okay, yeah, but I don't do pottery. I don't paint. So there was another thing that I was thinking about doing. So I get why this is appealing, because you don't have to produce anything yourself. You don't have to worry about space or, like space, because let's say you're building your own company, right? You have to have shipping boxes. You have to have shipping. You have to buy like labels, like all this stuff. I get it. I've looked into it. And this is so easy because, again, this is something that's super interesting. They don't like go around with suitcases with products to sell. They only sell it through their website.
Exactly.
Referred to. And so that was something that I was interested in, because I was just like, all these other companies,
and
like
so
clothing companies, you have to buy your own inventory, then you sell it.
So it's all, you're supposed to not carry a suitcase, right? But so many of these people will like buy things to meet their monthly quotas that they will just sell it at parties.
I mean, I don't blame them.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It just hurts me that someone would take like their stimulus check and use it to invest like $800 in this business, and knowing that 65% of people are never going to see that money come back to them. In fact, they will probably lose money.
Yeah.
Like that just really hurts. Sad.
Yeah.
And I just want to quickly jump into.
I just double checked. That is right. What we said about the 70 consultants, they took home, their earnings were over $1 million. It was $1 million in sales. They did 70 consultants take home. Average was over $1 million.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess
if you're one of those 70, good but for you.
I also think about like how many people's backs they are working off of. Like how big is their downline for them to make that $1 million?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I digress. So I wanted to jump in. We each have, I have one like longer story that is with Rodan and Fields. And it happened during the pandemic when I was furloughed. So I think that's like definitely something I want to read to you guys, because I still have the message. I found the message from 4-5 months ago. I think I got this back in, give me a date, July 1st. I got this July 1st of 2020. So I had been furloughed for about 3 months. And I got this on LinkedIn, which I find to be extremely inappropriate because number one, I use my LinkedIn pretty regularly, even if I'm happy in the job I'm working. I'm updating it. I'm networking. It's a site that's meant to be used to like grow your professional connections.
Right. Yeah.
If I had the want to start a small business, which like I will be 100% honest, I don't even really do my makeup artistry full-time on the side anymore because I don't want to start my own business. I have zero want to ever run my own company.
Right.
I've seen it up close firsthand. I don't want that in my life.
Right.
So I had been jobless for about 3 months at this point, and I think I was in the process of starting to like interview and look for new jobs. So I think I might have put out on LinkedIn like, hey, I'm open for people to connect with me.
Right. Okay.
Because I was still furloughed, but like I had this like sneaky suspicion I wasn't going to get my job back. So I just wanted to like cast a net to figure out like my next move.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read this message. It's quite long. I'm not going to name the woman that sent it to me, but I think it's important to like have that verbiage out there because they always use the same verbiage, and I don't want other people falling into this trap because like it is very convincing.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry. She messaged me June 15th first, said, "Hey, Sarah, thank you for connecting here. How are you doing personally and professionally after these unusual weeks and months?" And I ignored it because her class says like Rodan and Field consultant, business coach, entrepreneur, and skincare consultant, which is probably how she found me because that's one of like my taglines.
Right.
And so then on July 1st, I get, "Hey again, Sarah. It's been an emotional few months for our country. Mind you, this was right as the George Floyd protests had just like started to get, like that was the end of those protests.
Right.
So it had been like a very tumultuous time for our country.
Right.
How are your networks feeling in your area? As I'm still expanding my business, in parentheses, virtually, of course, I was impressed by your career in education and leadership and training, particularly in beauty retail.
Mm-hmm.
Given your experience, knowledge, and the timing of our world-facing social distancing, I'd love to connect with you about expanding my company in North America and beyond. Japan launched just a few weeks ago. Great. You may be familiar with Rodan and Fields. We are proud to be the #1 skincare brand in North America, which is fucking bullshit.
So I saw that they were but like, how do they measure that though? Do they measure that in sales? Do they measure that in?
Even if it is in sales, that's bullshit. There's no way they're making more money than L'Oreal or Estee Lauder. No way.
As a company.
As a company, there's no way.
I don't know what they're. I don't know what they're.
And like, I don't know. They can call themselves #1 in skincare, but like, there is no way that out of all, like, Neutrogena, I'm sorry, there's no way they are making more money than Neutrogena. Well, if they're selling
$155 serums, like Neutrogena sells $6 face wash.
Maybe, or like The Ordinary, or like brands like Decium who have like, anyways, I digress. I just think that's
Canadian.
Great, but this is North America.
Oh, true. Okay.
The #1 skincare brand in North America, created by the proactive doctors in an entirely virtual business, in parentheses, which is clearly a tremendous asset at this time. We already have had American professionals and millennials seizing this opportunity prior to the COVID chaos, including many leveraging their social media influence and tools to be their own bosses and build very successful international businesses with powerful residual income. Not only do I have a dermatologist and esthetician on my team, I collaborate with many other professionals and driven people. I'm going to pause for a second. I can see how a dermatologist or esthetician would be okay promoting this. It's similar to like how hairstylists promote Monat, because like they are dermatologically tested and like proven, but it's still.
But they also have a solid client base. If you're an esthetician, you most likely already have
people that are going to buy what you recommend.
Right. And you already carry products or whatever. Granted, it's not an MLM type thing, but you're purchasing like you're essentially a retailer, you know?
Exactly.
So I do see how that would make sense. Yeah.
This is the part that like really irritated me about her message, because she clearly tried to like pretend she was my friend and knew what my career was. Because at this point, I had all of my Sephora and the skincare brand I worked for listed on my LinkedIn.
Right.
So she said, now with social distancing, I'm sure you've experienced just how hard, quote unquote, brick and mortar retail was hit hard, AKA I'm out of a job right now. I know how hard it was hit.
Right.
And almost everything is moving into a virtual and online modes. Quotations. And Rodan and Fields already there and improving. Winky face. Don't know why you're sending me a winky face in a professional email. Additionally, many people are interested in other streams of income. The opportunity is exceptionally timed. We are all passionate, excited about what these products and this company can do, particularly to bless people during these questionable times with your $150 serum. The opportunity to partner with us may or may not interest you personally, but I'd be thrilled to chat, learn more about your experience and background, and get your feedback. Do you have 15 to 20 minutes for a chat or video call on Friday or next week? Now, I will say the only reason I knew how to respond to this, the way I responded to it. Oh yeah, because she wasn't going to leave. Like, I knew she wasn't going to leave me alone.
Oh my gosh.
And so this is basically how I was recruited to my door-to-door sales job.
Right.
And there are like, if anyone is interested in that, I would definitely love to do like a discussion about like how to know what you're getting into, like that whole story, like my experience with that job, because it was definitely like 12 weeks of horror.
Yeah.
Which is sad because I have some friends from that group, like that time in my life, that I still love deeply.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of thankfully had known from that message what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
So I responded, hey, blank, I'm currently not looking for any additional income and have a non-compete clause with my current contract that does not allow me to work for any other brand in beauty while working for my position or for up to 12 months after leaving. Thank you for reaching out at this time, but it's not something I am currently interested in or will be interested in the future. And I thought that would be the end. But no, I then received another IM, which said less than 30 minutes later too, might I add. Like, I think like she sent the first one at like, I don't know, 1 p.m. and at like 6 that night. Like I was like, oh, hey, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, hey, Sarah, thanks for being in touch. I absolutely understand if the timing and opportunity are not a fit for you. It would be much appreciated if you consider keeping Rodan and Fields in mind for your colleagues, friends, or family who may be looking for something different and or powerful residual income on their terms. Especially since quarantine, people recognize the need for flexibility and freedom of being their own boss with a virtual biz. We fully expect to be number one skincare brand in every market we open. Launch in Japan is off to a great start, by the way.
She just repeated her initial email?
Oh, yeah. As we already are in the United States and Canada, we know the product and business will bless those involved. Winky face again. Also, I've never met this person, right? Like this person like added me on LinkedIn and I kind of just added
no, I mean they're trying to like be your friend and come off as calm, casual, and exciting.
I'd be happy to thank you for referrals with products or cash. Are there any skin concerns I can help you address? Many people are disappointed with their skincare products, overpromise and underdeliver. I think you find Rodan & Fields to be exceptional for almost any skin concern. I'm sure you've had access to incredible brands, and I'd love to see how you compare Rodan & Fields. I'd be happy to send you a sample. And I did not respond.
My gosh.
Because although I do kind of want to try the brand, I didn't want to engage anymore. Like I was over it.
Yeah. Sorry.
So
I just can't believe that she used that. What was that term twice? Powerful residual income. Yeah. No, as we just learned, no. You will earn less than 1,000 per year. 67%. Yeah.
I'm Googling number one skincare brand real quick because I don't believe that.
Honestly, any of those, like there are just so many ways that people measure, it's like, I don't know.
Oh my God, it actually is Rodan & Fields.
I know that's what they said, but what are they? But based on what?
In terms of total sales in 2017. Okay, but what about 2020?
Well, I don't think they've released that. We barely have done the taxes for 2020. All right, so just to wrap up.
Well, that makes me really angry that she had that statistic to back it up, because I had someone reach out for Monat recently. Like, we're number one in hair care, and I'm like, again, I don't believe that Tresemme or Garnier Fructis is not beating out your little MLM.
I've never heard of Monat.
Don't dive in. The people that sell it are very
honestly, I would think that Aveda intense. Because with their
Aveda too, yeah,
all their salons and their schools, I would think that they are high up there in terms of sales. So I don't have any. I didn't get a message from a beauty MLM, but I got a message from someone I used to work with, who I guess now is a beach body, is what Sarah said. But I don't know if that's what her program is. I don't know. I got this November 5th, 2019 on Instagram DM. Hey girl, congratulations on your sweet new baby.
Wait, what sweet new baby did you have?
She is precious. With the double pink heart. I just wanted to thank you for watching my stories. It's super hard to be vulnerable sometimes, which I will say I did watch, and I will give her credit because sharing on social is hard. But I didn't have a baby.
This is what I'm saying. They cut and paste, they copy and paste all their messages to anyone that watches their stories.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
Right. And then she got me confused. I was like, I knew you. I worked with you for 8 months. It makes it a lot easier when I have supportive people in my life. Are you interested in the challenge group I've been talking about, or are you just a cheerleader? Either way, I see you and I appreciate you. Heart emoji, unicorn emoji, glitter emoji, starry-eyed emoji. And then she messaged me again April 14th. No. And then she messaged me, I guess, in 2020, April 14th. Hey, lady, thank you so much for watching my stories. I really should have stopped watching her stories. And following along my journey. I appreciate the support. I would love to have you join me. Can I send you some information? So then I had to unfollow her so that I wouldn't watch her stories anymore, because they were always, how Instagram says, if this person posts and you watch it, they'll put it at the top. So just watching it like I watch any other stories. Now, I really liked working with her. I worked with her in Denver at a different company. And I really enjoyed working with her, but I was just the first message where she congratulated me on my new baby.
Hey girl.
It's okay. Not me, but
this is where I've gotten to a point in my life where I would have responded being like, hey, thanks, she's really good, and just showed a picture of my belly, because Beachbody's always about they're all about health and fitness. I would have been like, thanks, my food baby's my favorite, and I don't intend to get rid of it anytime soon. All bodies are beautiful. Peace out.
Right. And I mean, good for her for, reaching out, obviously, especially to, I don't know. I could never do MLM because reaching out to people that I know, I didn't even tell people I had a YouTube channel. I was like, nah.
People we barely told our friends and family we have this podcast.
Hopefully by this time I would have. I just am not one of those people. So I think reaching out to MLMs to get that would be difficult. Yeah. So that concludes our MLM wrap-up episode, I guess. Thank you so much for reaching this point. We know it's long, but there was a lot of information, and I hope you guys found it interesting. We definitely found it super interesting doing all this research. I learned a lot, especially the history. That was very interesting. But right before we wrap up, we actually recorded this episode a couple weeks ago, and I received this message last week from the same exact person Sarah received her message from. I also got a message from the
Rodan and Fields consultant, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
On LinkedIn. So you received your message on LinkedIn. I also received
my message. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
A week ago to this day. Hello and happy birthday to you, Hannah.
That's creepy. So creepy.
How have you been celebrating? I imagine you've had a snowy one. I'd love to offer you some birthday pampering for your skin. If you haven't tried Rodan and Fields yet, send me your address for our luxurious mini facial. Lord knows we all need a little extra self-care and pampering after the year we've been through. Winky face.
I don't like it. Number one. I know you probably show on your LinkedIn that you worked in New York, and I assume this was the snowstorm that happened in New York, but why are you checking the weather where I live? Number two,
I think it was the huge snowstorm that everyone was going crazy about. Right now it's the Texas snowstorm, so everyone knows about that. So
you know what's so interesting though? The approach is completely different on your message. My message, because I've worked in sales my whole life, has been hey, I can get you a sales thing, blah, 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 blah. Let me let you make money.
Right.
And I'm just I don't want to be in sales anymore. Right. But yours is
pampering.
Oh my gosh, I just want you to try my products, and then you're going to love them and want to buy them and sell them.
Here's the thing though. I do want to try their products. They're just kind of expensive, and I don't like getting, I don't know. I don't really respond well to messages like that. So I just ignore them.
Yeah. I've started to coax the fire a little bit more, which I don't know if is a good thing or a bad thing, but I've decided that if I get messages like this anymore, I'm just going to play dumb. So, or
or
just
you don't want to waste their time. That's the thing. It's I don't want to waste their time. So I just don't respond.
I don't know if they're cold messaging me. If I've never met you in your life, you're kind of wasting my time. So
true.
Why can't I waste yours? And then it prevents them. It's kind of like scam callers where
no, I block them. Every time
I would rather you talk to me than a little old lady that doesn't know any better, and then you scam her. I'd rather you spend the 15 minutes talking to me, and then you won't get your money, and I'm not going to let you scam me because I know better.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Anyway,
if you've stuck with us this long, thank you. Yes. I know we talked a lot at the beginning of this episode about how much we appreciate your support. It is overwhelming, the amount of support that we have felt, and we appreciate it so, so much.
Yes, we're very, very, very grateful, and we love hearing from you. So we are very interested if any of you guys out there have been in an MLM, currently are in an MLM. If you have a great experience with it, if you have a not so great experience with it, we would love to hear all stories, especially if
I want to know.
Yeah, especially if you're in it right now and it's working out great for you. I'm very, very curious to, hear how you did it and how you're liking it,
Yeah, I agree. I love to hear people's stories. And if you have any thoughts on other topics that you'd like us to discuss, or if you'd like us to answer questions on products or routines or what we can help you out with, please feel free to send us a email at barefaced.podcast@gmail.com.
Or you can find us on Instagram and leave us a comment or DM us. And our Instagram handle is barefaced.podcast.
And we have a Facebook page now, so you can message us or comment on that page as well. It is Barefaced, a beauty podcast.
Yes. So I think that wraps it up for tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you Friday for a new brand of the week.
Yeah. Bye-bye all.
Bye.